Tell General Buell that his men were not at the front, that General Buell was not at the front, that we won the Battle of Grafton without him. Sure, he may have marched around a little bit, but he was not at the front, and by God, my men won the victory. He better not try and claim any of the glory, for the triumph is not his, it is ours. General Patterson to General Buell, following the Battle of Grafton. Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to Grand Tactician, the Civil War. This is our Union Let's Play series, where we are playing this grand strategy and tactical war game that allows you to pick policies, build armies, assign commanders, and then fight tactical battles when two armies meet. This is, we're currently in the winter beginning, or I guess late fall of 1861, the first year of the war. And we are playing as the Union, and the war's going pretty well so far. You can see our national morale and our national support are both above 90, while the Confederate morale is below 70. The morale of the armies is 80 to 73. The number of men in the field, the Confederates actually had an advantage over us there for a while, but in the last couple of episodes, I've really been focusing sort of off camera on raising new troops and new armies, and you can see we've got a pretty considerable lead of about 40,000 men in the field, more than the Confederates have now. Although that is, I think, heavily skewed more toward like West Virginia and maybe in Kentucky, where the Confederates, I think, still have a pretty sizable advantage in Virginia. Naval tonnage, obviously, massively to our advantage, but then battles won 19 for us, 5 for the Confederates. 33,000 Union casualties so far in the war versus 55,000 Confederates, so we definitely have the advantage there. European relations for the Confederates are at 35. Intervention is up to 35%. That's interesting. I don't think this is a good metric here. It says restricting the cotton trade makes the Europeans more likely to intervene. That does not seem right. Restricting the cotton trade was one of the Confederacy's biggest sort of diplomatic mistakes, I think, from a lot of people's views, because the British had a surplus of cotton when the war started because the year before had been a boon year for cotton. And then when the Confederates restricted it, it didn't really have an impact on the Europeans. And if anything, it made them more reliant on the Union because they had this massive stockpile of cotton already in their warehouses. Confederates weren't selling them anymore. They had a stockpile. It let them shift and have time to start building cotton resources in Egypt so that by the time they needed cotton again, they had alternative sources, as opposed to, you know, if they'd continued to sell and let them burn through it naturally, perhaps the situation would have been different by 63, 64 with no alternative markets in Egypt or whatnot. Additionally, the fact that they cut that trade off meant that trade was no longer something that they had as a leverage, while the Union was selling a ton of grain to them, and suddenly the Union became much more important. So I'm not sure I believe that. But anyway, 35% is not too worrisome. And yeah, so our weapons industry apparently is worse than the Confederates. That's interesting. I've only done one industrialization policy. We have the second industrialization policy underway, so that'll be done in about 10 days. And then once I do that, I think we're going to go with the diplomacy phase 1 policy, which will allow us to import Enfield and Lorenz rifles to kind of get rid of some of those reboard muskets in our stockpiles. So I think what we'll do is we'll finish industrialization level 2, then we'll go up to diplomacy level 1, or maybe we'll go to blockade first and then diplomacy. We have been bombarding Confederate ports off of North Carolina, Fort Macon down here. Is that technically Georgia, I guess? I can't see if this is Macon, Georgia, or if it's a different... No, it's North Carolina. It's on the southern tip of the Hatteras Inlet. You can see here that the Confederates did bring a fleet down here. It's a very small fleet that can't compete. Our Atlantic Blockading Squadron, this is our main naval task force, if you will. Actually, no, that's not even true. It's not our main naval task force. We did lose 3 warships in a previous battle, but I don't know. We had... Not the Flying Flotilla. There was another squadron around here somewhere. I'm not sure where they went. I swear I had another fleet. Not able to find it, of course. Let's do this. Let's look for the fleets here. The home squadron. Where are these guys? I think they've returned to port. So So I guess the fleet's sort of changed out. In any event, these guys are heading down to bombard Fort Macon, which is down to 59% reliability. Yeah, Duto. I'm not sure where the home fleet is. I don't see it anywhere around here. But anyway, I think this stream we're going to be starting off with a battle in the valley here. I just transferred a small force, or about a brigade, additional brigade of soldiers to the Valley Army, which is currently operating in the valley. So we just transferred Buchanan's brigade. That'll bring another 2,000 soldiers. Buchanan was transferred from the Army of the Potomac. That'll bring these troops total up to 12,000. You know what? I think we should transfer a second brigade because we are going to be up against like 18,000 Confederates. So I think it makes sense to transfer one more brigade from the Army of the Potomac. So let's pull that up. I should really filter out garrisons. That'll make it a lot easier. So we'll take Cochrane's brigade of 2,200 troops with Springfield rifled muskets and add those to McCall's division. It'll take 2 days for them to arrive, so they may not arrive in time for the battle. I'm not sure. We'll see. If they do arrive, it'll bring our total strength up to 14,000 in the valley as Hampton's division and its 14,000 soldiers are approaching us. Meanwhile, one other thing that folks really were kind of, I guess, begging me to do the last few turns or whatnot, not turns, but the last few days, is give perks to my different units that have the experience to earn them. I'm not sure how to do that. I don't see a way to do that. I mean, I could do it here, but not enough experience to select a perk for the Valley Army. Is there a mini map? I'm not sure if there's a mini-map on the right side. I don't see one. Yeah, not enough experience to select a perk. Does that just mean for that entire army? Because I thought perks are at the unit level. Maybe I can do it in the individual battles. Yeah, I just don't see the option for perks on the individual brigade. I guess if I do it that way, like select the army, go to manage army, 4th New York. It doesn't seem to have that as an option. Oh well. Yeah, I don't see that. Weird. Anyway, I'm not really worried about that. Let's go ahead and jump in. We'll let Hampton's division approach, and then we're going to fight a battle here. It looks like the other 2,000 troops didn't arrive in time, so it's going to be 14,000 troops in Hampton's division against 12,000 troops in our Army of the Valley. A little annoying that we keep fighting John Magruder. One, I don't know his fame is legendary because he doesn't win. And two, like, you'd think they'd replace some of these commanders sometimes, and it doesn't really seem like they ever do that. The AI needs better management of its armies and commanders. So it's going to be the Battle of Front Royal Bridge. 12,466 Union troops under Major General Kenly, 14,000 under Major General Magruder. We are on the defensive. So if we take a look here, there's two objectives, Milltown and Road to Romney. The Road to Romney is in the rear. Milltown is a little bit closer forward. So logically, this is a nice turnpike objective here, Road to Romney. Milltown's further south. The Confederates own the southeastern entry point on the map. So presumably they're going to be coming up this road along the Milltown Pike. The objective of Milltown is here. So I think we can just put like the whole force in position here. Just a question of where exactly I want these troops to go. Put them behind these fences, these fields here, along the main road. Could put them opposite this creek. This all looks pretty flat. I don't see a lot of terrain here that will be beneficial to hold. So I guess to that extent, we'll just do this. We'll do the 1st Division. We'll switch them into line and put them behind these fences here, I guess. Artillery can fire down that road. The infantry can sort of cover the road from the flank. Pro Council, thanks for the gift sub there and also the bits. Appreciate it. Meanwhile, the 2nd Division under Crittenden will deploy. We'll put its artillery maybe on this hill. There is a hill over here, presumably covering. Let's do that. Let's put both these batteries up here. And then I think we'll deploy infantry. Deploy this artillery up over there so they can fire over their heads. Deploy this infantry here. They're below the hill. And we'll dig these guys in. We'll dig Wool's brigade in. Abercrombie will guard the bridge south from Milltown, and then we'll leave the 2nd New York kind of in reserve. So the general plan here is going to be have one of Crittenden's brigades guarding the crossing of the creek here, one in reserve, one guarding the bridge over here toward Milltown itself. Meanwhile, McCall's division will be deployed on these heights opposite the Millwood Pike. So we're going to be a little bit spread out, but I think this is actually an okay position. Although maybe not those troops. Let's do this. Let's leave one brigade to guard the artillery. Then the other 2 will guard this. I don't even know. These guys have... Okay. Change everybody's range to long range. All right, do any of our units have perks? So you can see that the units can select perks once you're in the fight as well. But it doesn't look like any of these units actually have enough experience in this army to select a perk. This is weird. I'm all spread out just because I don't know where the enemy is going to come at us. So let's do this. Let's spend some engineering points. We'll build a parapet. Ah! Come on. No. I think I just built them breastworks, not a parapet. God damn. You right click here, then you right click where you want it. I guess this is terrain they can't build a parapet on. What if I move it to the rear? All right, let's do it like this. Nope. Not what I wanted. Ah. So you right click, drag, and then right click. Oh, I screwed that up. Anyway, they're in their parapet. Okay, so they're behind there. We'll go ahead and build parapets at all the crossings that I think we may need to defend. Okay. We have 4 engineering points left. I know that I can build it south of that bridge, so let's build it, or north of that bridge, so let's build it south. All right, so we've got these 3 crossings defended with parapets, and then I have enough left over to probably do a little bit more. Okay. All right. So we've got nice defensive works built on each of the potential approaches, and that spends all of our engineering points. So we'll go ahead and move forward and start the battle. So I don't really know where the Rebs are coming from. We don't have any reserves on the way. We're probably going to have to utilize interior lines, move these brigades all to sort of consolidate to wherever the enemy may come at us. Again, I'm assuming based on the deployment sections, they're going to be coming from the southeast, but I could be wrong. And so it's 9 in the morning. We'll just kind of chill and let folks come our way. We'll set everybody to long range fire. I have no idea what the anticipated casualties are, pistol. Guess it depends on how well I fight. I hope they come up this roadway, because that's really, the artillery is up on these hills. And I assume that's where they're going to have the most success. The enemy comes up, you know, that way. You can see nice fields of fire. These guns have a elevation advantage. They can just fire over the heads of our infantry. We've got 12-pound field gun and a 6-pound field gun. So they're smooth bores, not rifles. Damn right, Neuhauser. Damn right. Let's butcher them all, right? A Wild Star, thank you for the sub. Appreciate the support. Welcome to the channel. All right, so now we just kind of got to wait. Dun, dun, dun.
Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again. and today is episode number 67 of the Single Malt Strat.
Sorry, I literally had nothing else to do right now. It's like, what do I have on my soundboard that might actually be fun to play? Nothing. That's it. Wait, are you playing in a War in the Pacific game, or are you saying that it's a miracle that I'm still alive in the War in the Pacific game? Mystery Skittle, thank you for the follow. And Stealth Pro 15, appreciate the support. Come on, Rebs, where you at? Where is Johnny Reb? Where could they be? They must have really started on the edge of the map or something. Well, I think we have a strong defensive position. Oh, shit. There they're at. So they were coming up the roadway that I thought most likely. So here's the interesting thing, is they're going to come up this roadway and they can either veer off to attack my strong points and artillery on these hills, or they can keep going down the road, but then they're going to expose themselves to my two brigades on the hill, which could hit them in the flank. You can see they're coming up here. 2 brigades of infantry, Hotchkiss's brigade and Ashby's brigade. They may not have a good, I guess maybe I assume they could fire over the heads of these infantry, but maybe not. They're in range, that's for sure. We'll shift over a little bit. I'm not sure if the infantry is blocking their line of sight. 3 brigades of infantry coming right up. All really good sized brigades, 2,600 men or more. Hotchkiss, Ashby, and Wadey. I don't know if I'm going to play Strategic Command again, Ramgar. Kind of was hoping there would be like a World War III mod for it. That would be fun. I wish there was a better overlay in this game for like telling you what your artillery's line of sight was, because there's also a rise back here, so maybe they can't fire on these troops. They may be in a bit of a trough. Oh, nope, there we go. Nice volley there by that battery. Bring the 12-pounders over also. Another 4th Brigade's coming up here. Are these guys firing? Okay, they are. So we're going to fire on the lead brigade, which is Ashby's brigade. Now, this is kind of long range and all smooth bores, but we've got 28 guns total, which can fire into these enemy columns here. Maybe do some damage. They're firing short. You can see those shells exploding. That one, those are online, but a little bit ahead. They're leading the brigade a little bit. Meanwhile, some enemy artillery is coming up this other road. Hampton's Division Artillery. No sign of other enemy troops. All right, let's pull these troops. All right, the enemy's formed into line. Got some skirmishers out. All right, I'm going to bring the 2nd New York over to support. These guys may be coming for my troops on the hill. Or my artillery, at least. 7 casualties so far. Whoa, 23. These guys not shooting at long range? They should be. Is the enemy at higher ground? Like, why is the range so short? Preston's detachment. Ashby's brigade. We're losing more men than we're... I did not expect to lose quite that many troops. Let's pull these guys back. Deploy over here. So we're going to pull off of this objective here. I'm assuming nobody's coming down this roadway. So we'll have 3 brigades on the front. Meanwhile, this artillery firing into the enemy flank, I think they're doing good work here. You can see that we're blanketing the enemy flank with artillery. Enemy troops, meanwhile, look like they're coming up this hill. Hotchkiss's brigade and Wade's brigade. Hey, Sean Mack, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. I hope everybody's well. Man, I'm not really... Got rifled muskets, like, shoot back, boys. What do you mean you're flanked? By who? Alright, there you go. Alright, the enemy's coming across this creek toward our troops. Hotchkiss's detachment is engaging Colonel Peter Lyle. Now, we do have the high ground in this case. Meanwhile, we're continuing to pound Ashby's brigade. We'll bring the 2nd New York forward to support. I'm going to bring Abercrombie's brigade over here. So they're kind of stacked up. What I want you to do. Okay, so we've got 2 brigades in line now engaging with the enemy here. Preston's detachment is the victims of the 2nd New York's reboard muskets, while the rifled muskets of the 4th New York are hammering away at Ashby's brigade, and their defenses have started to allow them to shift the casualty burden. Meanwhile, 2 enemy brigades, Wadey and Hotchkiss, are engaging our dug-in troops on the hill where our artillery is. 1 enemy battery of artillery, Pike's battalion, is firing on our troops. And then it looks like Ripley's detachment is doing something. Also looks like there's smoke out this way, so maybe more enemy artillery or infantry are coming up. Another battery of artillery, Hampton's division artillery. Okay. 154 to 43. 198 to 143. Okay. So our musket boys are hanging in there. Enemy cavalry up here. The Peninsula Cavalry. 800 men. Okay. 4th New York's hanging in there against Ashby's brigade. This should be a pretty easy victory, I think. Yeah, the units are pretty jerky in game. They're not smooth or fluid. They don't rush forward like the blob that exists in Ultimate General, but... The blob. Okay, I guess shift down to get more of the brigade in action here. There you go. Or just do that. 231, 380. Hooper's brigade is taking some morale hits, so we'll move Lyle's brigade forward here to try and flank and break Wadey, or at least take some of the fire off. Now that they're out of the entrenchments. artillery is continuing to fire. All right, I haven't been able to get all my troops into the battle so far. Let's bring them forward. I want to bring these 2 brigades over the creek to flank the enemy. Anything else? Any sign of any other troops? Good. Hang in there, Cooper. Keep your boys firing. We're driving weighties back. You can advance now. And then fire into the flank of Hotchkiss's brigade. I do love the sound of those volleys. It's a little bit more closer together time-wise than maybe would be ideal in a Civil War scenario, but we are fighting with ×2 speed turned on. Ashby's almost up to 600 casualties. Wool's lost less than half of that. All right, so that hopefully they'll break way. What are you? You're outflanked? Kinda, sorta. I don't think really. I guess maybe technically the artillery. Experience. These troops just don't want to move, huh? 1st Minnesota, you guys are not living up to your namesake. A famous regiment from Gettysburg. There you go, boys. Advance. All right, boys, advance across the creek. Let's push them back. Let's win this battle and rout them. Fire on Ripley's brigade artillery. Shift your fire. Shift your fire. All right, it is up to 1,400 hours. Hotchkiss's brigade's been driven back. Okay. Volleys at this enemy artillery. They have 226 men in their unit. We're standing in line in the open. If the enemy get their canister off, we're going to be getting shredded a bit, but you can see some canister fire coming out there. Not doing a huge amount of casualties there. It's what, 11 casualties for those couple of guns that fired? Our volleys are doing more damage than that. Meanwhile, Ripley's detachment has been routed, so now we're going to advance north against this enemy artillery up this way, and also the brigade of enemy cavalry. We've got to drive these guys from the field now. I could charge the artillery. We'll do that. Morale sucks, probably because they're eating canister fire. So maybe we can charge the enemy guns and take them before they can withdraw. It looks like they had to abandon at least one of the guns. Can we? Nope, it broke. So there's still 2 brigades of enemy infantry back here that haven't been engaged yet. And so we've lost about 1,500 troops so far. All right, let's bring these reserves up. Artillery's going to keep firing on Ripley's brigade here. Meanwhile, the 1st Minnesota is engaging the Peninsula Cavalry. They do have artillery in support, so that could be a problem. Kenley, how about you rally these troops? 2nd New York only lost 52 men. The fact that they routed is just a shame. Freaking cowards. Do your duty. Their commander may be, let's see, disgraced. Well, he's got renown, so he may be disgraced after this battle. Dismounted enemy cavalry here. Apparently their guns aren't good enough for them to engage with my infantry. They don't seem to be firing back. Alright, we've got Lee's brigade here of 2,200 men. And is it Buckner's brigade or detachment? I can't tell. No, they've got 2 more brigades, about 3,500 men moving forward in column. We'll keep firing the artillery out over here. Alright, so we drove back the enemy cavalry. Peninsula lost 200 and almost 300 of their 800 troops. Ripley's trying to withdraw, but we're about to fire volleys into his flank. I think when Ripley routs, then regardless of these 2 unengaged enemy brigades, we're going to see the enemy retreat. Okay. There you go. Enemy's retreating. So we got 32 minutes to pursue. We're just going to kind of continue trying to batter these guys until they rout. Alright, we drove back that enemy artillery here. They abandoned all their guns or just 2? All their guns. Oh, good for us. The battle is over, but we're still taking casualties. Lyle and Cooper's brigade, both over 500 casualties, and Wool almost 400. It's been a surprisingly bloody battle. 1,600 casualties on our end, better than 10% of our force. But it is what it is, huh? I did like that defensive position. I think that was effective versus that enemy force. Digging in opposite the river, using the artillery to fire into the flank of the enemy line. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, we've got 17 minutes left here. No one's really fighting. We're going to speed things up to ×5. Got our 1 lead brigade here of green jackets. Over 700 casualties in the 1st Maryland. They may break here before this battle ends. 2 minutes. Nope, they didn't. All right, good news. So a minor federal victory at the Battle of Front Royal Bridge. 3,500 Confederate infantry, 300 cavalry, 3,900 total men when you include 20 of their 25 guns lost, versus our 1,800 casualties. So we win a victory there. The Battle of Front Royal ends with a federal minor victory. Hopefully they don't miraculously retreat through our lines up the valley. That would be frustrating. Meanwhile, Frosty Robot, thanks for the follow. And there you go. Minor victory. Huzzah. Huzzah. What's the opposite of for Southern rights? Huzzah. Lieutenant Colonel Rains loses face. That's not one of our commanders, right? Oh, shoot. What was the status there? The enemy reportedly suffered 3,900 casualties, 574 killed. We captured 2,000 rifles, so I'm guessing that means maybe 1,500 are missing. We lost 1,800 men, 269 killed, 268 missing. Let's see where they retreat. They're just gonna stay there? Nope. They retreated back. Glorious victory at the Atlantic. Page's squadron is in retreat. Well, the enemy retreated, but we didn't sink any of their ships. Is that 2 newspaper articles? Are those 2 naval battles? Or just the one? Alright, let's finish off this fort, you guys. Our 122 guns against the enemy fort at Fort Macon. Also, we should probably see, like, what else is going on up here. So Hampton's division's withdrawing. Meanwhile, the South Carolina State Militia, I think they're advancing on the Army of the Potomac. Oh, these guys look like they're in winter quarters, I would guess. I'm guessing that's what the little home icon means. All right, and that's going to do it for this episode of Grand Tactician: The Civil War, an upcoming strategy and war game that is coming out of early access on September 24th, so in just a few days. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of our Union Let's Play series in this game. As always, thank you very much for tuning in, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, I'm out.